Hello YouTubers. Today I'll be going over the scenario editor. This is a tool in Caesar 4 where you can make up your own levels. So once you've designed your own levels, then you can upload them so other people can play them. Obviously they need to fulfill the various goals, and then once they've done that, then they've won the level, etc. Or if they can't do that, then obviously it's a big fail. Now, that's here on the tools option. You click that, you'll see you can create your scenarios here. You can also look at other people's scenarios and you can edit them. Obviously, you can edit your own as well once you've created them. Before we do that, let's just have a look at the actual files which are created. So, under your Caesar 4 directory, once you bring up File Manager or Explorer, whatever it's called these days. So, you may have a different directory. This one is C drive, Program Files x86, Steam Apps Common Caesar 4. That is specific to the Steam version. If you've got the CD version, it might just be Program Files, Sierra, Caesar 4, something like that. Anyway, you should know where you've installed it. And just search for this file. If you don't know where you put it, you can just go up here and type in Caesar 1v, or should I say IV, because it's Roman numerals, and then it'll locate it for you. Okay, so once you've found it, you should have a directory like this. It should say data. Under data, you'll have things like save games. These are the games which you've previously saved. They'll be in that directory. But what we're interested in today is the scenarios. Okay. I'm going to find the one that I've already created, so you can see what files that are available. Okay, so they have different file extensions. If you haven't got file extensions visible, then you can look here on the type and see that one is called CS file, SCN, XML, DDS, and another one's called DDS. Okay, for DDS, you can't see the extensions over here. One is blend and one is color. We're going to go through a little bit on this in a while, but I just wanted to show you so you can see what files are created. Some of them are not created, and we'll go over that as well. Okay. So let's start with create. Okay. You may also notice that my Caesar 4 is in a window. When I was creating it, I was constantly looking and referring to some documentation, and so I could just pull it to the side and bring up the info instead of having to go out, come back in, go out, etc. Okay, so what we have here at the top are the starting conditions. Now, here you have denarii, so that's how much money they start off with. The year, you can specify what year your scenario is going to run in. It doesn't have to start at 0, and you can have AD or BC. Okay, now here we also have favor. This will be a starting favor, so they may start on 50 or whatever favor you want to start them on. Now the region is here. Under here, you can set up specific regions. Okay, there are some options here, and you select different region and different apron. The apron is basically the mountain range that you see in the distance. You can't actually go into the mountains, but while you're playing, you can see off in the distance sometimes, depending on the angle. Let's see if I can... I can't see anything here at the moment. Okay, so here is the distance. So the map finishes at this edge, and up here would be the mountains, etc. Okay, now we're not talking about the mountains and the hills that your soldiers and the enemy can walk up and down. We're talking about in the far distance. Okay, next option down here is elevation. When the elevation options here are negative, that means that they're underground. So if I put this up to say 3, I'll make a small hill like so. As you can see, it's now a little bit hilly. And we can move around so you can see it. Ooh, I've got a nice little hill going here. Likewise, if it's a negative, then it's below ground level. And that's a typical location where you would go and get your pump. You'd put your pump near this location and people can pump water through their aqueducts. The size can vary, extra hilly, and you can use bigger brush strokes if you want. Very big brush strokes. So you can quickly produce some hills like that. Now, the next option is terrain. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit flaky. Painting on the ground is highly unstable. Meaning that if you select that option, it's very likely to crash the Season 4 program. So don't use it. Okay. We will go to another option where we will paint the ground, and we'll go through that. Okay. Set arable, this option here is basically you allocate an area, and that is where you're going to put down the fields. So this is land that's suitable for farms to grow crops, and they'll appear like this. You select your regions, and so when the person now goes and puts their farm and their little fields, the fields will go in this area and crops will start to grow. Likewise, you can remove it if you don't want to grow crops there. you've decided you're going to use that area for something else, then you can delete that. There's also an option here for removing sprites. We'll come back to that in a little while. Okay. First thing, one thing you should do, you hit the little X here, the little red X, and go save. I'll call this new one. Hit save. It's a very good idea to save regularly because, as I say, you may click one of the options and it crashes and you'll think, you've done a lot of changes and they've all been lost. Okay. Another thing to do is save textures. Okay. That's also good. Now, so far, let's just quickly look at the file system and see what's been created. So far, we've got new one.scn file. That's created when we did the save, original save. And then here, when we did save textures, then you've got these other two files, these DDS files. So we're up to 3 files. Okay. We'll just have a quick look at the other options. Road. You can paint a road, different types of road. Voila. Okay, units. Now, you wouldn't ordinarily put down things like actors and beggars and catapults. Not really the sort of thing you would put down. What you may put down are some buildings, some bridges. Let's see if we can quickly put one down here. Okay, let's go back to the terrain and elevation. So let's dig some holes in the ground. Okay, we've got some water. And now we're going to put a bridge. Oh. And there you have it. Bridge over troubled waters, as they say. Likewise, you can put down clay pits nearby and all sorts. There's a whole list there of things you can put down. There's also other. To make it more authentic, put down little things like rocks, bit of grass near the edge. You know, just to give it a little bit more character. And of course some trees, depending on where you are, what sort of trees you're going to put down. There's a whole range of tree types. As you can see, there are ones for the Mediterranean, North Europe, forest. So you can just put a lot of this stuff. Create your own little woodland, put lots of trees around, etc. Okay, next thing you should look at, next option is the empire level. Okay, so we have to give our city a name. Let's say our city. Not a very original name. Okay, one thing I've forgotten. We go back to the previous option up here. Okay, you need waypoints. Okay, what is a waypoint, you may ask? A waypoint is somewhere that people come onto your city. They have to come in from somewhere. So you select a waypoint. So waypoint 1 could be for where people come in to your city. You could set up waypoint 2. They're normally around the edges. Say trader from one city is going to come in from here. Waypoint 3, maybe a different trader can come in from this direction. And you can set them all around your map. So sometimes the trader will come in from, say, the left edge, and then there may be a waypoint on the other side of the map, and they'll leave on the other side of the map. Likewise, you can set up a waypoint where there's water, and then the ships will come in at those specific points where the water is. Okay, let's just quickly go back to our city. Nice little Roman name there called our city. Make it a little bit more authentic, obviously, do a little bit of research, try and find a name that's at least from Roman times. Now, I'm going to go on to the next option. Story. City. Original. Actually, this option isn't very good here either. Aftermath is what happens at the end, whether they'll win or lose. What I'll do now is I'll pull up. Yes, what I'll do is I'll pull up a city that's got a few more settings in it. Let's pull up the one that. Here's one I made earlier, as they say on all the cooking shows. Okay. Okay, as you can see, I have gone through, I've added some trees, some rocks, got some hills, bridges, more bridges, sunken ships. Yes, you can have sunken ships. You can have temples. As you can see over here is a waypoint. So traders can come in from that direction. I've added some clay, some gold, some waypoint on the opposite side of the map. There are a lot of options you can add in. Even a double bridge. I couldn't figure out how to get rid of this little bridge part that I had made earlier. It wouldn't delete. I've got two bridges together. As the idea behind that was possibly you can get twice as many soldiers over to the other side quickly if you've got 2 bridges. Okay, let's just quickly go back to here. Now here's my city, Emesa, and I also have some other towns to trade with. Tios, Palmyra, and Dendera, and these are all ancient cities as well. They do exist, obviously, but you can make up ones if you don't want to keep it to be that authentic. Pretty much I got the name, and that's about as far as I got. You can do some research if you want to find out what those cities buy and sell. But I've just basically set those up quickly. Right, let's see. So, for example, Tyra. Here, under this option, under Empire level, we've added it. It's another city that I can trade with, and got various resources. You've got the import resources. I'm importing pottery. I will select pottery here from the drop down menu, how many I want, and then I will add that. Then go to the next one, select the next option. Let's just, for an example, iron. I want iron 20. Add that. So now iron is here. So when I'm trading with the city, they can import some iron from me. Now, also exports, what that city will export, glass and timber. Basically do that for the other ones. Okay. Now, here we've got here the story. It's not entered in this option. We'll go to the other file and show you where all this information is. What else have we got? Other things you can do, you can restrict some buildings. Say, for example, you don't want them. Let's have a look. Remove from this list. Okay, so say you don't want them to have any cattle farms. You select cattle farms, hit remove, and they'll no longer be able to produce any meat in this level. So if they need meat, they'll have to import it. Obviously, you'll need to set that up as one of the things that you buy from one of the other cities. So these things are not produced in my city. Okay, now another thing you can do here is set up some requests. Caesars may request certain items. And you can set up how much favor or penalties you get from fulfilling these requests. You know, request for jewelry, I want it now. And obviously submit that. No, I don't want it now, but you get the idea. Rome is experiencing a shortage of raw materials. It would be greatly appreciated if you can assist by providing jewelry. Now, these requests from Caesar. Here is the start week. Okay, now each year is 48 weeks. Not like our current calendar, but in Roman times, or at least in this game, they are 48 weeks. Okay, and then it'll recur again in 144 weeks. Okay, this one is a variant, so it means it can vary up to a month. 4 weeks, so it might come a little bit early, the next request, or a bit later. That's if you've got it on repeat. And then, of course, you get your deadline. So you've got a year, 48 weeks, or you actually have 1 year to fulfill that order. Okay. And of course, you've got some warnings. First warning, second warning, when it's near. So halfway through, 6 months through, you get your first warning, and then a month before the deadline, you're going to get another warning. So don't leave it too late. What else is there? Gifts. The gifts that you can give to Caesar. You can select from various options here what sort of gifts you want to give. So you can. A couple of things I couldn't quite get working properly, and that was little red routes that link your city to the trade cities. They don't seem to be working correctly. I did have them light up a couple of times, and there is some documentation on some other sites like Caesar4.heavengames.com. There's a lot of documentation there, and it's a lot to read. Okay, don't want to save this. Okay, now let's go back to the area I said, painting the ground. Painting the ground. Okay, so what you can do in order to paint the ground, let's do that. Okay, you can paint the ground in various paint programs. Okay. Now, for those of you who are very artistic-y, you may already have Photoshop. But for someone like myself, I don't have Photoshop. I have no need for Photoshop, and I have virtually zero artistic talent. I use GIMP. GIMP is a free open source image manipulation program. Basically, it's like Photoshop, and it's free, and it's got lots of functionality to it. Okay, so what we want to do is edit this Emesa _color.dds file. As you can see, mine is in my C program files, x86, Steam apps, common, Caesar4/C4/data/scenarios Emesa. Folder. Just go okay. And that is it. That is where I've got a bird's eye view on, and we're looking down at the ground. Okay, so what I did to make my particular city is I drew a river all the way around. Ordinarily, you see some rivers come in one side, go out the other side, but I thought, you know what, I'll do something a little bit different. And that's what I did. So I can zoom in. Let's zoom in, plus plus. Okay. Plus plus plus. Use my sliders. Now, instead of just pushing the ground down, I also wanted a deeper blue on my river. Yes. So I selected that color. Oops, sorry. Let's deselect it. Edit. I'm not very good at using this program, I'm afraid. I just managed to select exactly what I needed to do, watch a few YouTube videos, figured out how to actually use the paintbrush, and I basically did this. Just drew where I wanted my river to be. And then I selected a different color, and in here somewhere is an option to change the paintbrush size, and I went around the edges of my river and I basically did that. I got a different color and pretty much did this all the way around and came all the way back. Okay, and I did that and I saved it. What you can do, obviously, for those who've got a bit more artistic talent, you can do a little variation on your greens or your dirt, sandy patches. You have maybe white and grey here. Say for example, you're going to put down a marble mine, something like that. It makes it a bit more interesting. Okay, you basically save this and come out. And that is it for GIMP. Right. Now the other thing you'll need is to create a couple of other files. They're not automatically created for you. You can just go into this directory, find one that's already created and rename it, or copy paste, rename it to match your city. Okay, so we're going to look at this file. Let's have a look. Hopefully you can see that. It's an XML file. So my city's called Emesa, and I've got an Emesa.xml file. Okay, I'll bring that up in Notepad. That's this one. This is, I'll zoom in that for you. Emesa. Hopefully that's big enough. This is a Notepad++. Hold down the Control key, scroll with the mouse. So here we have it, Emesa. The overview. This is the message that comes up as soon as you start the level. Rome has discovered rich resources in the heart of the Parthian territory. Blah, blah, blah. So I just made up some blurb. /n is for return. So it's a new line. You use /n and the next line will appear on a new line. So if you put 2, then you're going to have a bit of a gap. And you want to create paragraphs. I'll show you the effect in a minute. Okay, so here we also have information for win. This is the message that comes up once the person playing your level has won. You have done well for the Empire. Should be proud. Such actions give no one cause to question your place as Caesar's favorite governor. And of course, lose. Having just escaped by the skin of your teeth, prepare yourself for your new job in the arena, governor. So that person didn't do very well. Okay, and here we set the goals. Population 4,500, favor 85, culture, prosperity, security. Okay. So you can type these straight in here. You know, if you want security to be 80, just type 80. That's it. Save that and it's going to make it a little bit tougher. Okay, here we have the request. Request for marble. Request for gold, iron, jewelry. This one's slightly more complicated. A request for military support. Okay, so we'll go to that a little bit. So let me zoom out a little bit. It's a little bit there. Okay, so we also have invasions. You can set up invasions. Let me make this a little bit. Hopefully people can see this okay. And maximize it a bit. Okay, so I've got some invasions. And this is the blurb, all the text that goes with the invasions. So the title, the year, what happens at a year, 3 months, or 1 month. These are the messages that pop up as we get closer and closer to the time of their arrival. The enemy are here. Okay, so you can put in some info there. Here's some info. Now, one thing I found is when I have set up my cities for trading, the names don't always match up. So you might have to edit this. That's just one thing I found. So a little bug in there somewhere. Now, you save that. The other file is Emesa.cs. As I say, copy someone from another city and then you'll have at least a good starting point. Let's have a look. This one that I have here, Emesa.cs. Okay. CS is a C# script file. You don't need to have done any programming to edit this. You should at least know how to use Notepad. If you can use Notepad, then you're good to go. I recommend using Notepad++. I just love this little scrolling function like this. Okay, so if you do copy a different one, you'll need to put the name of your city in here. And okay, this is what we've got. You need this file mainly for military request setup. Okay, so this one is for military support. Caesar's going to ask for military support, as we saw in the XML file. And we need some support, and the enemy are consisting of Parthians auxiliary, and there is one fort. So you should be able to dish them. You know, if you've set up your military forts in a timely fashion, then you know they're not going to be too much trouble. Okay. You've got a year from the first request, and you can easily do this. I know some people don't like the military aspect, but it's easily doable, and you know you can win that fight. Those troops have got a guaranteed victory as long as you set them up in time. Okay, now here we have invasions. So you will be invaded. We have here 5 different invasions set up. They're numbered here from 0 to 4. It's like a lot of arrays. They all start with 0. Okay, so type of invasions. Conquest. They're hell bent on conquest. Okay, and we have auxiliaries in the first invasion. They will, let's see, I think you've got a warning after about a month or so, but they're quite easy to beat. The next invasion comes in at what? Let's think. 132 weeks. Now, initially, this value here was set to, I don't know, say, for example, 3,000. So you could have bribed them. And I uploaded this scenario to Caesar for Heaven, and they didn't create, one of the guys there didn't create any forts at all, and decided he was just going to bribe his way through it. So if you're one of the first few people to download this, then yes, you could have bribed them. But I've changed that to 0, so there's no bribing allowed. Okay. So you're going to have another invasion at, I think that's 3 years. And I think, let's just quickly do the maths. Let's just see, 132 over, I said 48, didn't I? Oh, not quite 3 years, so 2 3/4 years. And 252, I think that's 5, yeah, 5 1/4 years. Okay, so just over 2 years, there's going to be an invasion, and over 5 years, etc. So they're all spread out. Now, there was one thing. Yes, okay, so these invade once. Yes, this is it. This last invasion, it doesn't come very often. Giving you 420 weeks. You've got a lot of time before this invasion. Lots of time. But it will repeat. And that is, what's that? About 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. Every 3 years, you're going to get an invasion. And it's a massive invasion. You can handle them if you're prepared. So it's not going to be for a long time. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can play around with these. So, for example, the first invasion is just auxiliaries. The second invasion, heavy infantry, auxiliaries, and catapult. Let's see if I've got a little bit more info for you on that. I have got my second screen over here. Let me see if there's any more info I can give you. As I say, a lot of this information is already available on Caesar for Heaven. Let's have a quick look. Okay, add cohort. So you've got the type and the number. Okay, so this number here is the waypoint. As mentioned earlier, specific locations on the edge of the map. So they're going to come in at waypoint 2. And they're going to then leave at waypoint 2. Okay. The conquest types here, they don't actually have to conquer you. They can just do a raid, smash up a few buildings and then run off. These guys are definitely going to try and smash everything up and leave you in a little wreck. Okay, that's pretty much everything. A nice bit of a taster. And that is it. That's my whole level. So if we minimize this, and we can start new game. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, start new game. And then, okay. So in order to load them, so you have gone through all of that. You've created your files. Now you'll need to grab all of the files that you've made. Make sure that they're in the scenarios folder. Okay. If you want to upload them to a site, obviously you can zip them up. But if you want to play the game now that you've made, you then go into scenarios and then select the city that you've created. And here you have it. All the text from the XML file comes up here. Blah, 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 blah. And these are the goals. Quickly flick back to that. It's at the top, I think. Yes. Okay. There you go. Population, favor, blah, blah, blah. And there you have it. And we can begin. So there you have it. We are now in the game. and ready to play. There's the arable land. So, draw my road, put down some buildings, and the people shall start coming. They should be coming in from over here. And here they come. Join my city. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Let me quit this one. And let's see if I've got a saved version. Ooh, I don't want to spoil it too much. Okay, let's show you a completed one. So here you have it, a completed city. Rome demands marble. Okay. Right, well, that's pretty much it. That's enough info to get you started. As I say, there's a lot of information on Caesar for Heaven. If you want some more info, then obviously leave a message. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and I really need to get up to 100 subscribers. And hopefully I'll do another video shortly.